This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so along with that, what else we discussed? We discussed the versions of the rule set. So what do you mean by rule set version? So there are mainly three things we'll be having. So major, minor, and again patch version. Okay. So if there are any small changes which you want to move, then if you want to fix, then we go for the patch version. Otherwise, we'll go for the major and minor versions. Okay. So
This conference will now be recorded.
one tier, two tier, and multi-tier. So I think initially once we discussed this one. Okay, so in general, whenever you create any account with Gmail, otherwise Amazon, so what it is happening? Someone. So it is going to be taking the details of the user. Sudarshan, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. So one tier, two tier, and multi-tier architecture means, okay, so if you want to have the user interface and even the database and even the business rules, so any application combination of these three mainly, okay, user interface, business rules, and again database. Okay, so whatever the data you enter in the user interface, that will go and save in the database, right? So for example, if you create the account for Sudarshan, a Gmail ID, so what it will happen initially, it will take the Sudarshan details, and these details will be saved into the database. So next time when you are trying to log in with the Gmail account, what it will do, it will take the Sudarshan details, username and password from the DB, and if it matches, then only you are able to access your Gmail account. Okay, otherwise it will throw you error. So how exactly it knows means that and all, okay, is happening or verifying. Okay, so that verification is called a business logic. So if you take any website, so totally it contains three parts. Okay, the first one is user interface. Once after giving the details, it will verify the business logic or business rules, and then it will check in the database. So this user interface is what? Like accepting user data. Okay. So, and later this user data, where it is storing? It is storing under the RDBMS package. What is RDBMS package? Relational Database Management System. So what comes under the RDBMS? Like SQL Server, Oracle, okay, DB2, Postgre, like that. There are n number of the database packages are there. Okay, relational database management system. Okay, so once after you data, someone go on mute, please. Okay, yeah. So once after entering the data, So it is going to be verifying whether you enter the valid data or not, like your username and password is matching or not. Okay, so like that. In the same way, so that is called here, that verification we call it as business logic. Okay, that is called like the business logic. So user interface, okay, business logic and RDBMS. Okay, in the older days, what it's happening is these three we are going to have in the same server, in the same system, in the same desktop itself. Okay, we used to have. But what is the problem? If it is in the same system, okay, when one person access to the laptop or desktop, he cannot access from the other system. Okay, so but right now Gmail server is in some other location and we are accessing from some other location. Okay, so that means these three tags they have divided into two parts. Okay, what are those two parts? Okay, means that user interface we are accessing from our system, and this business logic and RDBMS is having in some other server. Okay, in some other location. Okay, so that is called a two-tier. One-tier means everything will be in one system. Two-tier means user interface in one place and the business logic in RDBMS is on some other location. But later what happens? So it is burdening the server. Okay, by maintaining all the business logic and RDBMS in one server, so it is burdening the server. It is going to impact the system performance. So that is the reason why what they have done. They have divided into three servers. So for user interface, one server, for business logic, one more server, for RDBMS, one more server. So that is like a, so that is called what? Three-tier architecture. Okay, we can also say multi-tier architecture. Okay, so that means we may be having n number of the RDBMS servers also. Okay, you may be having n number of the business logic also, like that. Okay, but you will be connecting to the business logic and then you will be connecting to the RDBMS. So that is called a three-tier architecture. Okay, now we are going to concentrating on this user interface part now. Okay, that means how to create the user interface so screen for the user to accept the customer details. Okay, to give the access to the server. So that and all. Okay, we will be learning now. Okay, how to create the user interface. So while creating the user interface, what are the very first things you should know? First thing is like, okay, on which you are entering the data. Okay, you are entering the data. So what are the data we are entering? As I said that, okay, in case if you want to create the Gmail account, okay, you will be entering username, okay, password, and re-enter the password, okay, and then your date of birth, okay, your address, city, state, and all these things. Okay, so they all are called what? They are all called properties. Okay, they all are called properties. But in other languages, what we used to call it as variables. Okay, in other languages, we used to call it as a variables. Okay, but here in PEGA, we used to call them as a properties. Okay, so what are the properties available? So for each and every value we enter, it is called a property. Jagdish or Sudarshan.
Yes, sir.
Sudarshan, go on mute. Okay, so like that. This username, okay, we will be creating one property. Okay, so we will be creating one screen, else one section. But if you take something called bank, okay, you will be having customer ID, customer name, city, state, all those things. Okay, So when you are entering like this, okay, username, password, and you enter password. Okay, we also need to specify what kind of the data you want to enter in these fields. Okay, so what kind of the data you have to enter. So like date of birth. Okay, salary. So like that you have to create the properties and you have to specify what kind of data you want to enter. So that entering the data, what kind you want to decide, that is called a data type. Okay, what kind of the data you want to enter, that is called a data type. So what is that data type means? Okay, here for the username we want to enter characters. Okay, otherwise numeric, otherwise numbers like that. Okay, and in the same way password also. Okay, characters and then numbers, some special characters also if you want to enter, if you want to restrict like that. Okay, so re-enter the password and the date of birth. So date of birth will be under the date month year format or else month date year format. So how exactly you want to enter, so date format is different. So for that there is a one more data type available. In the same way salary, salary is what kind of the data we will be entering, only numeric data we will be entering, that is called a integer. Okay, that is called a integer. So in the same way here integer. Okay, and then username, password, re-enter password or a character or text, and the date of birth is a date time format. So these are called data types. So in pega various data types available. Okay, not only these three, something called, okay, boolean data type is there. So what is the boolean data type? Sometimes if you want to enter true or false or yes or no, so that is called a boolean data type. Okay, that is called a boolean data type. Okay, and even if you want, you can have single value data types and again multi-value data types. So they are called what? They are called something called properties. Okay, page properties. So how exactly it is page property means, if you enter only here, if you enter only one record. Okay, so here if you enter only one user data, then it is called a one record. Okay, one person details if you enter, that is one record. In the same way, if you enter multiple user details, okay, multiple person details, then each and every record is called a one page. And if you have multiple pages, that is called a page list property. Okay, that is called a page list property. Okay, so how exactly it will save into the database, like employee number, employee name, okay, date of birth, okay, salary. So employee number 1, okay, employee name Jagadish, okay, some date of birth, okay, salary, okay, in the same way, employee number 2, okay, so Sudarshan, okay, in the same way, Harsha, if you give, okay, so like that you can specify. So in this case pega how it will treat means, first of all this employee number is one integer variable, okay, which stores just one value, and later employee name also one variable, okay, and date of birth also one variable, and salary also one variable, and later, okay, all together related to one particular user details is called a one page. Okay, so and like this total how many page values we have, so how many user details we have, three user details we have. Okay, three user details we have, so that means, so total three pages are there. Okay, total three pages are there. So that is the reason why if you want to have multiple user details, okay, multiple records, then what we can say, we can say it is a page list property. Okay, it is called a page list property. So like that, if you want to have more than one value, then we need to go for the page, otherwise page list record. Okay, and this page internally refers to single value properties. Okay, internally refers single value properties. So what are that single value? Integer employee name, okay, text employee name, okay, date of birth, okay, date of birth, and again salary. That is also date type data type, and this is the integer data type again. Why my server is taking too time today?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we will discuss about all these variables later, like private edit, okay, actions and discard, okay, in some time. Okay, now right now what happened? So we have created a section. Okay, here one section is there. In this section, there is a one layout. Okay, under the layout, we have summary and again reason. Okay, we have something called summary and region. So what are these summary and regions? There are two text properties. Okay, they are two text properties. Okay, and these two text properties, okay, it is created by PEGA itself under the PEGA sample application. Okay, and then those properties they have placed it here. Okay, so how can we know that? Means just to select that cell. Okay, totally how many cells it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells are there. Under the 5 cells, they placed the summary property. Okay, here the first one is the summary is a label, and later here this is actually the text box. So in this text box only we can enter the data. So how do we know that? Okay, whether it is one of the property means, okay, just to select one of the cell, and here you will be having something called view properties. Okay, when you click on that, okay, so when you click on that, it will display the properties of that particular cell. Okay, what exactly the control you have placed and what exactly the property you have placed. So all these things you can see over there. Okay, see there. So this cell properties contains totally three types: general, presentation, and actions. Okay, under the general, okay, here you will be seeing what are the properties you referred over there. So for displaying this summary, for accepting the summary from the user, they created one property called PY description. Okay, so under this PY description only, when you are running, you can enter the data. Okay, so even if you want to see that property, you can open it here. So right now we have opened the section, right? So code summary in the same way. Now we are opening the property like, okay, PY description. See, this is the PY description property. Okay, so this property, under this property, what kind of the data you want to enter, you can see here. So text. So what is this text? Data type. I already told you, right? Okay, to enter the text. Okay, we need to select text data type. Okay, to enter the date of birth. Okay, we need to select the date type data type. Okay, to enter the integers. Okay, we need to select integer type data type. Okay, so like this, if you want to create your own properties also, you can create it. Okay, where exactly we can create it? Okay, if you already open any of the property, okay, and then go into the actions. Okay, here also you will be having create option. Okay, so here also you will be having create option. Okay, otherwise in which class you want to create, there also you can create the properties here. So under the PEGA sample, if you want to create, okay, under the PEGA sample class, okay, if you want to create, we go to data model. Why? Because properties under the category of the data model. Properties comes under the category of data model. You see there. Okay, here if you select property, you can see the existing properties which are created by Yeah, under the PEGA sample application. Okay, in our application, we will not be having any of the properties. In case if you log in as a ICICI or something else, okay, there you will not be having any of the properties. So there, if you want to create your own properties, press the right mouse button on the property category. Okay, and then you can select the create. Okay, and then you can select the create. So what did you found? Right now, we have seen two ways of creating the properties. So directly from the App Explorer, go into that particular class, under the particular class, go into that particular category, property category, and then select the create. Otherwise, if you already opened any of the property, okay, then go to the actions icon here. Okay, actions button. Under the actions button also, you will be having the create button. So both are same only. Then what it will do? It will ask for the details to be entered. Okay, what details? What is the property name you want to give? And what is the data type you want to give for that property? So all the details will be accessed over there. See, label. What is the label you want to give? Okay, previously if you see, summary is the label and period description is the property name. In the same way here also, if you want to create employee ID, okay, is the label. Okay, by default identifier will come employee ID, and if you don't want that, okay, if you want to change it, okay, with dot one, you can change it. MP ID. Okay, MP ID. So actually the label displays to the user is employee ID, and the actual name of that particular thing is EMP ID. Okay, then select OK like this. Okay, and later context. Context means where exactly you wanted to create this property. Okay, where exactly you want to create, under which class you want to create the property, so that you can select here. Okay, in the PEGA platform application, so by default it is going to be creating under the work class, work dash, but in case if you want to change it to different class name also, you can change it. Okay, what is the class name? Right now we have PEGA sample. Okay, but actually this PEGA PRPC is the default application on which mainly it is read only. Okay, this is read only. So that is the reason it is not allow you to create the properties or anything in this class. So let me select work dash temporarily, but even you don't have rule set. Okay, yesterday we discussed about the rule sets also, right? What is the rule set? So general, if you want to move the application from lower environments to the higher environments, then we need to create the rule set, and again you need to select the version. Okay. So like that, after selecting that, sorry, Harshak, can you open that? So you don't have any other application other than PEGA one?
I just started yesterday, so sorry. Like I deleted it and I just created new in the new system.
Okay. Why? Because this is like a new application, right? PEGA sample is the read-only application kind of thing. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, so here we have checked out earlier this course summary.
Is it like if we create one new organizations, like that we need to create new administrations for each organization? We need to create new administration. Is that how it works?
It is not mandatory. Okay, for the existing operator also you can give the access to the application. So one operator ID you can create and you can give the access to the multiple applications.
Okay.
Okay, so here region is there, right? So in the same way, one second, you will see any other sections which contains other property types. Simple course having same properties. Okay, so here also there are some of the organization division unit. So mainly if you observe these things like, okay, in the application accelerator, what exactly you are creating, that is, those are the sections and layouts available. Okay, so under the section layout will be there, under the layout we will be placing the properties. So you would be asking what you mean by layout. Okay, so layout is just some small, again, one more user interface part of the harness. Okay, so like that, means in general, okay, forget about pega or else any of the programming language. In general, layout means what? So in the plots actually, okay, if you take any venture, in the venture what they will be doing, they are going to be dividing into 200 square yards or 300 square yards or 150 square yards. Okay, and then they are making it as a layout. Okay, so by giving the layout, and again they are giving that, okay, plot id they are giving. So plot number 20 is available for the sale. Okay, 21 is already sold out. Okay, 23 is available again for sale. Okay, so that means they are going to make the layouts. So in the layouts they are going to be dividing into different square yards. Okay, different parts. Okay, so that is the layout. In the same way here in pega also, when you want to display the form, okay, when you want to create the form in the form, okay, so we are going to making some layouts. Like for accepting the user details, personal details, okay, there will be one layout. For accepting the home address, there will be one more layout. For accepting the office address, there will be one more layout. Okay, for accepting the salary details, otherwise employee details, there will be one more layout. So likewise, so layouts will be having various things here. Okay, layouts will be the place on which we will be making the properties. So how you can add the layouts and how you can add the properties into this section. Okay, under the layout means here we will be having various options. Okay, under the action, under the display, under the folder. Okay, there are various types available. Okay, so if you want to place any button, link, menu, okay, so then you can go for the action buttons. Okay, and then under the display, so these are the mainly display category properties. Okay, if you want to make any text property, okay, if you want to make any label, paragraph, okay, if you want to make any image, so like this, okay, you will be having various options. Video control if you want to place. Okay, for example, let me place a text property. You see here. Okay, py template display text. Okay, this is the one it is displayed. By default, it has taken one text property. So in case if you want to place your own properties also, you can place it here. Okay, under the Pega sample, under the data model. Okay, under the properties. Here we have various properties available here. Py state, okay, like this now. So what you can do, even if you want to place this property py state here, so what you can do, you can select this and go to the view properties. Under the view properties, you can select the property whichever you wanted to display. Okay, presently there is no property. Why? Because I have just dropped over there. Now, when you select the down arrow under the property, so there also you can see all the properties available in this particular class. So you can select the property whichever you want. Okay, it is like a py start, right, or state. Now select the submit button. Okay, see, this property has been changed to py start. So like that also you can select the property. So what I have done, first thing is like, okay, from the display, from the data display, I have selected one control. Which control you want to display, like whether you want to display as a text box or else okay, label or something like that, paragraph. Okay, so selected this text box and again drag and drop here. Okay, you can do the drag and drop, and later by going to the view properties also you can select that. Okay, otherwise what else you can do? Directly you can select the control which you want to display over there. Okay, select that property and drag and drop here. In that way also deadline property has been displayed here. Okay, so but deadline is a label, and what actually is the property name here? PY deadline is the property name. Okay, so PY deadline is the property name. Like this also you can have the properties to be displayed over there, deadline. Okay, so like that there are various number of the property types available. The dynamic layout, okay, layout group, okay, columns, okay, and again, okay, dynamic layout group, okay, repeating dynamic layout, okay, table. So here, how the layout you want to display, the layout kind here you can select here. So in case if you want to select dynamic layout, you see, I'm adding one more layout. So already layout one is there. Now dynamic layout I have been added. After adding this dynamic layout, okay, again if you want to add the properties, so again you can select the property from the App Explorer and again drag and drop. Like this also you can add the properties. Once after adding the properties, not only one property, as many number of the properties you want, you can add it. Whether you want to add after or you want to add before, also you can select like that. Okay. So, and even while displaying this layout, here you see first label and then the control, label and then the control. Okay, it has been displayed like that. But whereas in the dynamic layout which I played, so it is displaying label and below the label again it is showing the control, that is text box. Okay, so in case if you want to change this one to this one or else this format to this format, how you can do? Means select the layout to which you want to change the format. Okay, go to that view properties. Okay, under the view properties, okay, layout format it is showing as a default. Okay, so and whether did you observe previously here under the view properties it was showing the property name, but now it is showing layout format. Why it is like that? Why? Because now I have selected the layout and I have selected view properties. So when you select the view properties for the selected layout, okay, here the properties will be displayed according to the control which you have selected. Right now I have selected the layout, so it is displaying like this. In case if you select any of the text box and again if you go to the view properties, here the controls or properties which will be displayed is different. Okay, so this will be changed based according to the control you have selected. So when you select the layout, it will be different. When you select the property, it will be different. When you select the label, it will be different. So based on the control you select, okay, the properties will be changed accordingly. Now, layout format. By default, it is having default format only. In case if you want to have stacked and select submit. Okay, so this will be little change. Okay, now again go to that view properties. Instead of this tag, we will change it to the definition. Okay, inline grid double. See, what happened? Grid double. Double means this is like a two columns format. It is changing. Inline grid double. It is like a grid with double lines. So otherwise, inline only if you select. It's like this. Okay, inline grid double covers the complete layout. Okay, whereas inline select only the size of the control, how much it is there. So if you want, you can add the third control here. So just drag and drop here, and it will put the control over there. It's the property. Okay, so this is one way, and other way what I said, we'll go into that any of these format. Okay, whether you want to display what kind of the property you want to display. Okay, email property. If you want to just select, drag and drop to the but here we will not be having the property. Why? Because it is just the control we place here. So once after placing the control, if you want to select that property also which you want to display, then you can whichever the property you want to have, you can add it over. Then and if you want to see the preview of this, you can select the run option. Under the action, you can have run. The sample application, the Excel, it is not giving the right for us to take it out. Okay. So then what we can do here? So under this, if you want to add various properties after adding, even if you want to change this control also, you can change it. Okay, here right now, this is as a email format. Okay, instead of the email format, if you want to make the drop down also, you can simply go to the drop down. Otherwise, directly if you want to add the drop down also, you can add the drop downs. Okay, so under the fields, you have something called drop down. Okay, checkbox. Okay, like okay, so simply select the drop down and drag and drop over. This is the drop down. You can here also again for this drop down in case if you want to add the property, you can add. So like this, how exactly you want to display the user interface. Okay, generally this drop down we can select it for the gender. Okay, whether the male or female gender category if you want to make it drop down, or else you can also make it as a radio buttons. Okay, male or female like the radio buttons also if you want to make it, you can make it over there. Okay, that presentation, okay, here you can change it over there. So currently drop down format is there. So if you want, you can change it from drop down to change. Okay, how exactly I want to display it also. That means initially when I feel that okay, it is a drop down, I have selected a drop down over there. And later if you want to change it as a data button or else any buttons also, then you can come here and you can change it over there. Okay, decimal, data type, okay, placeholders, dash, and everything. Okay, multi-select also. Okay, if you want to have the multi, okay. So multi-select or drop down means what it will happen. Multi-select means okay, it will display multiple values from this. Okay, from the list we can select multiple values also. Data page it is a multi-select it is having it. So like, multi-select means it will have multiple values. So multiple values you can populate through the data page. Okay, which we will be learning in the coming. Like this is for multiple selections to the production with product list. Okay, it will display multiple values. And in case if you want to select multiple values also, you can select option 1, option 2, option 3, right? Okay, so if you want to have only 2 values to be selected, you can select multiple values also. Okay, in this way, you can have various properties to be placed on the user interface. Okay, guys. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I'll see what exactly the issue with my personal edition. I will rectify, and tomorrow I will try